boys and girls, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to the final round of our National High School Debating Competition, Advocates for Tomorrow, being hosted by the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association as one of our series of events for our Law Week 2018. My name is Danny Maynard. I'm a member of the Bar Association and also a member of Law Week 2018 Organizing Committee. And of course, I'm the moderator for today's proceedings. Just for a brief recap of our debates on Monday. In debate 1, we would have had the moot education. The education system is not doing enough to combat crime. In that debate, we had Verchilds High School for the proposition, and we had Immaculate Conception Catholic School for the opposition. The winner of that debate, with a total score of 574 points, was the Immaculate Conception Catholic School. Our second debate, with the topic all beaches should remain public, was between the Bastia High School and the Washington Archibald High School. For that debate, we had the Bastia High School with total points of 566 points, and the Washington Archibald School with 521 points. So today, we have our 2 winning teams in the final round. The debates today will be carried on social media at SKN Law Week 2018. It will be live. We also have our media hosts here today, ZIZ and WinFM, who will be rebroadcasting today's debates. Without further delay, let's get straight into the debates. And the moot for tonight's debate is children below the age of 16 years should be banned from using social media. Our teams tonight, as mentioned, hail from the Immaculate Conception Catholic School. For shortness and brevity, I'll refer to them as ICCS and VHS. Again, VHS. Well, look, that's the high school, VHS. There will be 2 speakers from each team. The team arguing in favor of this motion, also known as the proposition, is the Bastia High School, and they will go first. The team in opposition of this moot is ICCS, and of course they'll go second. The leader of each team, proposition or opposition, will speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. The seconder of each team will speak for a maximum of 6 minutes. I will announce the times after each speaker has presented. Our timekeeper this evening is Mr. Kenyatta Tyson. And he will give a warning he will signal when there is 1 minute before the expiration of the speaker's time. And at the end of the allotted time, the debater then has 10 seconds, a 10-second window to wrap up his or her presentation. After this period, I will have to ask the debater to take his seat. Following the main presentations, the debaters will then get a short break to prepare their rebuttal. And then each team will deliver for a maximum of 5 minutes. The rebuttals will be delivered by the leaders. I'm going to ask the students to come on stage now and take their seats as their names are announced. For the proposition, we have the Bastia High School, their students being the leader, first and foremost, Mr. Moriel Knight. And the second of the Bastia High School, Hyanja Pope. For the opposition, the ICCS, we have the leader, Naomi Francis. And the seconder, Malachi Ferguson. And now for our judges. It is my honor to introduce tonight's panel of judges, our most distinguished judges. First, we have Justice Trevor Ward, QC. Justice Ward is a graduate of the University of the West Indies and the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad. He is the holder of a Bachelor of Arts with honors, a Bachelor's of Law with honors, and a legal education certificate. Justice Ward commenced his legal career as a prosecutor in 1998 when he joined the chambers of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in Trinidad and Tobago. He was appointed Senior State Counsel in 2003 and served in that capacity until 2005 when he joined the chambers of the Attorney General in the Cayman Islands. In 2011, he was appointed Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. In this role, he acted as lead prosecutor in complex criminal trials, including murders, firearms, and anti-corruption cases. Justice Ward has extensive experience in the Courts of Appeal in Trinidad and Tobago and the Cayman Islands, and is conducting training workshops for law enforcement agencies. He is also a former associate tutor in the Law of Evidence at the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad. In 2013, Justice Ward was appointed Queen's Counsel. In 2016, he was appointed a judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court and assigned to St. Kitts and Nevis to the Circuit of St. Christopher and Nevis. He currently serves as the chairman of the Disciplinary Tribunal of the Anguilla Bar Association and as a member of the Sentencing Advisory Committee of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Can we please have a round of applause? We also have our other resident judge, Justice Eddie Ventos. Justice Eddie Ventos is a High Court judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court assigned to St. Christopher and Nevis. He's a former professor of law at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus. He has over 70 publications and 3 books, including The Commonwealth Caribbean Administrative Law, published in 2012. Justice Ventos holds a Bachelor of Law, First Class Honors, from the University of the West Indies, and a Master's of Law, First Class Honors, from the University of Cambridge in 2000. And a doctorate in philosophy in intellectual property law from the University of Oxford. Please join me in applauding Dr. Our third judge this evening is Mr. Delano Frank Batt, QC. Delano Batt, QC, is a former Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis. He served in the Federal Parliament and Cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis from 1995 to 2006. He was admitted to the bars of England and Wales in 1977. He has rights of audience before the courts of the OECS in all its member states. His professional experience includes the practice of law before the courts of England and Wales between 1977 and 1995, including appearances at the Privy Council. That's our highest appellate court, by the way. Also, in 1982, he was a delegate of the independent talks at Marlborough House, London, for the framing of the St. Kitts and Nevis Constitution. In addition, for 9 years, being 2006 to 2015, he was the country's top diplomat at the United Nations in New York, where he served as its permanent representative and ambassador to the United Nations. He presently holds a number of appointments, including that of Commissioner of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Please welcome me. Please join me. Forgive me, I'm a bit nervous. The judges will be scoring the students based on 10 criteria: soundness of points, logical development, audibility and clarity, posture and personality, command of language, coordination, recall and analysis, command command of material and body language. We are also privileged to have our two best speaker judges. Our best speaker judges will specifically be looking at individual performance of each debater on the teams. First, we have Mrs. Simone Bullen Thompson. Ms. Simone Bullen Thompson, admitted to practice of law in 1998, served as State Counsel and Senior State Counsel in the DPP's chambers in Guyana, and as Crown Counsel and Magistrate in St. Kitts. Presently, she serves as Solicitor General in St. Kitts and Nevis. We also have Ms. Delia Joseph Rowe. Delia Joseph Rowe is the President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association and the Managing Partner of the law firm of Joseph Rowe, which operates from Charlestown, Nevis. Mrs. Joseph Rowe engages in civil and commercial litigation and frequently appears as an advocate in the High Court and in the Court of Appeal. Mrs. Joseph Rowe has previously been selected to judge debating competitions, including the Leeward Island debating competition that was held in Nevis in 2017. Our best speaker judges will grade each debater on the following criteria: audibility and clarity, articulation, voice modulation, command of material, persuasiveness, fluency, eye contact, and body language. We are also grateful to have our auditors this evening, Mrs. Isilma Pemberton Fifield and Mr. Omar Jeffers of the firm of Lands Monish and Associates. They will be tallying up the scores from all the judges. Without any further delay, I am going to call the proposition. Mr. Moriel. Nice.
Imagine an alley lined with vicious, hungry hounds waiting for their meals. Then picture a child, a little child, taking this very route home with his parents. Some of these dogs bite, others kill, then some bite and then kill. His parents, aware of the danger, attempts to shield him. The naive child, however, sees these dogs and becomes fascinated with them, and he tugs to go in their direction. As a parent, would you allow him to go? Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, worthy opponents, good afternoon. This dilemma is like a vicious cycle faced every day with no end in sight. Children under the age of 16 are very vulnerable and deserve to be protected lest they fall not only by the wayside, but fall out of existence. It is in this light that we declare this afternoon's moot. Children below the age of 16 should be banned from using social media. Let me ably define the key terms. Children, plural of child, according to the Collins English Dictionary, means a childish or immature person. Banned means to be prohibited by legal means, and social media, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, refers to forms of electronic communications such as websites for social networking and microblogging through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. We agree as the proposition that there are many benefits to be derived from teens enjoying social media. However, we firmly submit that the drawbacks far surpass such benefits. Social media brings harm to children due to the many threats that exist on it and creates a catalyst for cyberbullying and distractions. I seek to reiterate the fact that children are very vulnerable. They are easily manipulated and easily led astray. While using social media, children can be fooled and their emotions tampered with. It is not unknown that it is very easy to lie about one's age while using the internet, especially when using one of any of the hundreds of social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Madam Moderator, young children can be taken advantage of. Picture this, judges. Audience, a 10-year-old girl searching for fun and love. Imagine the man, a mischievous man, posing as a fellow 10-year-old. She opens up to him. Then she exposes herself as he preys on her young, unsuspecting self. Should we really allow this to happen? The use of social media by children under the age of 16 exposes them to sexual and violent content. While using social media, children come across pornography, violence, drugs, among many other negativities. Learned audience, the results of a survey we recently carried out in our school zone proved our point that children under the age of 16 are indeed exposed to inappropriate sexual and violent content. Of the 250 students we surveyed, 225, all within the age group of 12 to 15, answered yes. To make matters worse, 25 of these students were our young neighbors from the Beach Island Primary School. These absurd results are extremely alarming and calls for an intervention. Social media creates a catalyst for cyberbullying. With the fast spread of the internet and social media, there has been an increase in the number of reported cases of bullying. There has also been, the words are like knives piercing the readers. The photos and memes are like bullets shot at the hearts, lives, and reputations of the affected. The senseless and immoral actions of these persons who are often young have lasting effects. Every day, millions of hateful comments are posted that ruin the lives of persons all around the world. Those bullied often suffer subsequently from low self-esteem, with some going on to cause self-bodily harm and others even suicide. All of this, Madam Moderator, due to the fact that children are behind keyboards, typing, clicking, and posting away on social media. Isn't it therefore ironic that firms like Snapchat pride themselves with the slogan, "Life's fun when you live in the moment"? For these persons, life in this moment can be nowhere near to fun. According to data obtained from organicagency.com, 43% of kids have been bullied sometime in their lives online. Furthermore, they are 2 to 9% more likely to commit suicide having suffered internally. I must ask, Madam Moderator and worthy opponents, would this be an issue if children under the age of 16 were strictly banned from using social media? Social media has also opened the door to children to cause harm to themselves and others on their quest for fame and fortune. As the saying goes, and I quote, "Monkey see, monkey do," end quote, children often seek to achieve 15 seconds of fame. This quest for fame has caused many children to do careless things and in their innocence set themselves up to injury and possible death. One can only reminisce on the many internet challenges that have plagued us over the years. These include the cinnamon challenge, the duct tape challenge, the choking challenge, and locally, the dumb and immature and incomprehensible Nerf challenge. This saw many children between the ages of 12 and 16 mixing random substances that were dear to them by friends, then attempting to ingest it. Children are also dared to run around clad in the suit awarded to them at birth. What was the point of these challenges? Why were lives put at risk? The answer is clear, judges: to receive some likes and hope they go viral. Is this what we have come to? Hurting ourselves just to make some persons laugh at us? Hurting ourselves just to be seen by a few persons? And hurting ourselves just to make some persons laugh at us? Hurting ourselves just to impress persons who could care less if we existed? After all, they did. If they did, they would discourage these senseless actions. Madam Moderator, the answer is clear. ban social media for children under the age of 16. Furthermore, on a whole, social media is a distraction for children under 16. Their minds should be focused on schoolwork, tests, and getting a good education for career purposes. The time it takes to swipe through pages could be used to do more productive things. Children spend too much time liking and trying to be liked online. They often lose touch with reality. They spend hours looking at videos that oftentimes bring no educational value to them. The countless funny videos cause persons to use their time unwisely. These often take up precious megabytes within the child's developing brain. Children at this age are not fully grounded and looking up to most of the models and teams on platforms such as Instagram. Subtly, these models erase and erode the morals and standards set in stone by the children's parents. Some promote racism, others rudeness and disrespect, yet still others violence. Parents are left in awe to see the 180-degree turn that their children, who they took so much time to raise, take. This change mostly results from young children sitting and observing the utter nonsense seen on model social media pages. They seek to act like their role models, and oftentimes it leads to their personal harm. In conclusion, can we really look at social media without examining the differences? Can we allow our youth, who according to Nelson Mandela said they, and I quote, are the leaders of tomorrow, end quote, to be destroyed in the prime of their lives? Who would be to blame if this excuse of communication continues to drive up the suicide rate and cause persons to become crazy with their lives being ruined? Madam Moderator, the answer is clear. Terminate the problem at the source. The threats to children, the constant cyberbullying, and the distractions caused are enough to keep social media away from the persons who would misuse, overuse, and abuse. Listen to me carefully. Children under the age of 16 must be banned from social media.
Mr. Knight spoke for 10 minutes and 8 seconds, just before I ushered him off the stage. We'll now have the leader of the opposition, Ms. Naomi Francis.
Social media is a catalyst for the advancement of everyone's rights. It is where we are reminded that we're all human and all equal. It's where people can find and fight for a cause, global or local, popular or specialized, even when there are hundreds of miles between them. The words of Her Majesty, Queen Rania Al Abdullah of Jordan, to describe the vast potential of social media in a keynote address at Europe's #1 technology event. In our ever-evolving and dynamic world, social media is seen as the forefront of technology with countless benefits for individuals and society. Social media is a complex tool, and according to Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, one of the world's leading social media giants, and I quote, "Social media platforms today are not only used to connect with friends and family, but is a place where persons can build an image, an identity for themselves, which in a sense is their brand. Persons are connecting with the audience they want to connect to, and it is almost a disadvantage if you are not on social media now. To ban our children from social media would be, as Zuckerberg puts it, a disadvantage. Consequently, my teammates and I rise to strongly oppose the move. Children below the age of 16 years should be banned from social media." Madam Moderator, distinguished adjudicators, worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Permit me to define the keywords that outline the parameter of our argument. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, banned means to prohibit, especially by legal means. In our country, Any prohibition by legal means is done through laws. While Cambridge Dictionary defines social media as forms of media that allow people to communicate and share information using the internet or mobile phones. As such, the mood can be paraphrased as thus: children under 16 years should be prohibited by law from all forms of media that allow them to communicate and share information using the internet or mobile phones. This restatement and clarification of the mood topic in and of itself shows how outrageous the idea of a ban on social media would be. As such, my teammates and I will demonstrate the many benefits of social media on youth and society, how teaching responsible use of social media can be an alternative to a ban, and the negative effects of a ban. Madam Moderator, allow me to dispel the notion that social media is simply a place used by young people to chat with friends. While our opponents may associate social media with the dilapidation of our youth's social and communication skills that results in the detachment from the real world, a literature review published by the Young and Well Cooperative Research Center found that social networking services actually play a vital role in young people's lives, delivering educational outcomes, facilitating supportive relationships, identity formation, and promoting a sense of belonging and self-esteem. Social media can provide an accessible and powerful toolkit for highlighting and acting on issues that affect and interest young people. As Nobel Prize-winning youth activist Malala Yousafzai put it, social media is the easy place to start taking action against injustice. In 2011, social media platform Twitter was used by young people across many countries in North Africa to mobilize, organize, and speak out against social injustice, giving us what we know today as the Arab Spring. Without social media, the wide-scale organization of many people aimed at improving their society and their livelihoods would not have been possible. In a paper published in the American Political Science Review, it was revealed that more than 14 million tweets were sent out during the 14 months of the Arab Spring, and that these tweets helped mobilize citizens across countries that resulted in changes in their countries. Furthermore, in March 2016, the renowned Fortune magazine ran an article titled, and I quote, "Tweets That Changed the World," end quote. This article highlighted the power of social media to be a vehicle of societal change, justice, and the advancement of people. Honorable judges, my teammates and I are here today to establish that social media can and should be a tool for social good, and that our children under age 16 should be shown how to use this tool and not be banned from it. Madam Moderator, let's discuss also some practical everyday uses of social media for youth. The platform can be used by them as a means of organizing activities, events, or groups. Social events can be promoted to the entire federation with just the click of a button through platforms like Facebook. Let us imagine Tanya, who desperately needs to contact her mom, but has no credit on her cell phone. She is unable to use WhatsApp as she is banned from it. What is going to happen to her? How will she get in contact with her mom? The banning of children from the use of social media, such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, and Snapchat, would severely restrict parents' ability to effectively communicate with their children. Banning children from using social media would do more harm than good. A survey of parents of teens aged 13 to 17 was conducted by the Pew Research Center on September 28th to October 9th, 2014. It was concluded that 60% of parents report that they check their teen's social media profile, while 48% of parents say they have looked through the phone call records or messages on their child's cell phone. Overall, 84% of parents report taking at least one of 6 steps to monitor or restrict their child's online activities. 16% of parents indicated that they practice one method of supervision, while 45% use 2 or 3 measures to deal with social media use. 19% take 4 or 5 steps, and 5% adopt all 6 measures. to dealing with social media. According to Pew Research Center, and I quote, parents of younger teens are also more likely to use tech-based tools to block or monitor what their teen does or sees online. Some 46% of parents of younger teens report using parental controls to monitor their child's online activities, compared with 34% of parents of older teens. There is a human tendency to ban what we don't understand, like or are afraid of. There is a fear of children below the age of 16 using social media, resulting in taking the easy way out by simply prohibiting the use of it. It is believed that prohibiting the use of social media will solve this fear. Based on statistics from Pew Research Center's survey, 40% of parents frequently discuss with their child appropriate topics that can be shared online. 39% speak to teens about appropriate content for them to view, and 36% have talked with their teen about proper media to consume and their online behavior towards others. Madam Moderator, the only countries in the world today that have instituted a ban on social media are repressive and oppressive communist regimes like North Korea and China. These countries use such a ban to limit information, stifle free expression, so as to maintain an oppressive and regressive society. Am my opponent suggesting that we should model our society after North Korea? My teammates and I believe that we should build our nation on the responsible use of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. These are God-given rights, and it is our job to teach our children how to use these rights responsibly rather than taking them away. More specifically, Madam Moderator, we believe that a ban on social media would be a breach of the Constitution and international conventions like the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which grants children the right to freedom of expression, including the freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds, regardless of frontiers, either orally, in writing, or in print. Lastly, honorable judges, my opponents may try to convince you that our children can learn the responsible use of social media after the age of 16. They will tell you that we can wait until then. But remember that all scientific evidence points to the fact that as human beings, we learn best when we are young. In 2016, the youngest app developer at Apple conference in San Francisco was 9-year-old Avithya Vijay. 9 years old! In 2011, 15-year-old Nick D'Alessio built an app. 2 years later, when he was 17, he sold it to the internet, a giant Yahoo, for $30 million. Honorable judges, I end with this quote. I tell my students, do not let adults tell you that what you are doing is a waste of time or silly or antisocial. Youth know how to use the tools they have and have spent 10 years preparing themselves. Thank you. I rest.
Ms. Francis would have spoken for 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Yes. So now we'll have the seconder from BHS. Just a correction, 7 minutes. My typo, misinformed me. So 7 minutes for the second.
Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, attentive and concerned audience, worthy opponents, good evening. My partner was most effective and transparent in presenting the dangers of social media on the lives of our young children, thus supporting our stance of the moot. Children below the age of 16 years should be banned from using social media. Now, I am here to further emphasize that all children under the age of 16 should be banned from using social media. Madam Moderator, esteemed judges, the effects of more social media activities which children below the age of 16 get involved in are far-reaching. These activities on social media not only have the potential to devastate and even take the lives of our children, but can adversely affect the appearance, the culture of our society, and the good reputation of our beloved country. Imagine a mother and a father who have two children, a 12-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter. They are respected by everyone in the community. However, the daughter shared a video of herself having sex with a popular busman with her best friend via WhatsApp. The video was leaked and devastated the entire family. The parents experienced great pain, and the brother's school life became extremely difficult because of the teasing received and the children's cruel remarks about his sister. The family's long-standing good reputation will forever be tarnished. Esteemed judges, some of the activities our children get involved in on social media are not only detrimental to themselves, but also their parents. How many fathers must experience the shame of having half-naked, nude pictures, or even sex videos of their young daughters, their baby girls, go viral? Madam Moderator, is this an isolated episode? Are the chances of this happening again slim because no other girls want to embarrass their family or community? Sad to say, the response to these questions is no. Not if the young schoolgirls of the newly launched Taking People Man Committee has anything to say about it. On Monday 29, 2018, using the power of social media, a group from one of the top high schools proudly and passionately launched their committee, telling the nation and the world that St. Kitts and Nevis has a new club open for business, the business of taking away people's man. How appalling and distasteful. Madam Moderator, they not only embarrass themselves, their parents, their school, the Ministry of Education, and their communities, but also the country. The apology the following day cannot erase the damages perpetuated by such a blatantly repugnant act. Why, Madam Moderator? Because the internet never forgets. Note well, powered by social media, the culture of our beloved country is taking on a new look, a dark and disgusting appearance. Some may want to blame the parents for not monitoring their child's use of social media. The truth is, my empathetic and hard-working audience, taking into the consideration how demanding life is and the fact that most parents are not technologically savvy, how much time can these busy parents really devote to monitoring every act of their child on social media? Most of the parents have limited knowledge of the popular social media sites like Facebook. Can you imagine my mother and other parents trying to keep up with Snapchat, Uvo, Instagram, Flickr, and Tumblr? No way! Some may say that there has always been the prevalence of underage girls having sex. Well, that may be true. The fact is, only a limited number of persons would have been able to tell about those acts. Now, with access to social media, underage children can be unwittingly exposed to the world live, and in living color. The children are the future of our nation, but their actions on social media is changing the culture of society. Social ills in St. Kitts that used to be merely rumored for about 9 days or so are becoming globally broadcast through the actions of young people, whether intentionally or unintentionally. For instance, the Exposing Sluts page on social media, which displays images of sex. SKN Shade Room on Instagram makes St. Kitts and Nevis look like a ghetto WWE match challenge daily. The more these negative images are broadcast to the world, it is more likely that our country will lose its sterling reputation as a decent and peaceful country. If children under the age of 16 are not banned from social media accounts, the country can be negatively affected. If anyone doubts that young children and social media cannot possibly destroy the reputation of our country, then they may not have yet heard about President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump, with all his credentials and experience, is currently wrecking the United States of America, one of the most powerful countries in the world, with his foolish and offensive tweets. If President Donald Trump is ruining his country's reputation through social media, could you imagine what our young children's recklessness could do to on these accounts and the country's reputation? Madam Moderator, children under the age of 16 should be banned from social media for their sake, for their parents' sake, for their community's sake, for the country's sake, for goodness sake. The proposition rests.
Ms. Paul spoke for 6 minutes and 27 seconds. We'll now have the second up from ICCS.
Good evening, Madam Moderator, honorable judges, fellow opponents, and invited guests. When people are connected to social media, they can do some great things. They have the opportunity to get access to jobs, education, health, and communication. Social media presents the opportunity to bring the people we care about closer to us. Social media really makes a big difference. These were the words of Mark Zuckerberg in promoting the use of social media through Facebook. Tonight, our opponents will seek to hide the various benefits of social media, but instead try to convince us that it can be an addictive and distractive tool for children under the age of 16. However, I must point out that anything misused can be addictive. For example, if pain medicine, which has various benefits, is prescribed by a doctor but is misused by a patient, can it not result in an addiction? Does this mean that those pain meds did not do its job? Madam Moderator, the answer to these questions is a blatant and resounding no. With this in mind, Madam Moderator, I will now reinforce the arguments made by my teammates and highlight some benefits of social media. Close your eyes. Imagine a world without social media. Communication would be limited or not possible at all. All interaction would have to be done in person. Group work could only be done effectively if all group members are present. Correspondence is delayed for days. Open your eyes and thank God that you're not living in a world like that. Social media is an effective tool for communication. Social media acts as the most significant means of communication between family and friends. Through this use of social media, young people develop communication and discussion skills not only to communicate with their friends and family, but also to communicate with others in a local or international context. Special interest groups also use social media to communicate, raise awareness, provide information, and advocate against social ills. Imagine children under the age of 16 not being able to participate in such forms of communication or special interest groups. So, imagine persons like Malala Yousafzai not being able to share her story to the world. Or the Black Lives Matter movement, whose main tool is social media, not reaching the ears of our children. Social media can be used as a key tool for education. Today, education systems around the world are incorporating technology and social media into the education curricula. CXC uses YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook to reach out to students about deadlines and changes in programs. Schools use social media as an effective and efficient mode of teaching students. Teachers regularly provide students with YouTube videos to teach various lessons. YouTube EDU provides access to more than 500,000 educational videos from organizations such as Stanford University, PBS, and TED Talks, and much more. Duolingo is a social media platform that helps youth to learn a vast array of languages. Children under the age 16 all have access to these tools, which aid them in achieving success in education. To ban our children under the ages of 16, social media would greatly ban them from social media. They would greatly deprive them from tapping into their full educational potential. Social media plays a role in the dissemination of information. Our children today need to stay informed on current events and social happenings. News networks use social media to reach persons all around the world. Imagine if our children were deprived from obtaining news from social media. This will result in a future nation of ill-informed persons. Further, topical issues are discussed and broadcast via social media. For instance, this very debate is being broadcasted live via Facebook and Instagram. For thousands of children that could not only locally but internationally. Social media can also be used for the following purposes. It can help develop the identity of our children, develop a voice for our children, and help them build trust to building relationships. Children can become content creators, managers, and distributors of information. They can become collaborators and team players. Children can begin to develop the skills set to prepare them for employment in the future. And they can also be explorers, learners, and future leaders. With all of these benefits of social media, how can our opponents, who themselves fall within the subject of this debate, seek to persuade us to the contrary? Our youth are our future, and any ban would only stifle their development. Social media is not the enemy. Get informed and use it responsibly, because whether you, we, or I like it, social media is here to stay. Thank you.
Mr. Ferguson was well within the time at 6 minutes and 23 seconds. We'll ask for 10 minutes of absolute silence so that the debaters can prepare their rebuttal. 10 minutes starting now. We'll now have our rebuttals. The opposition will deliver theirs first. Just a reminder, it's 5 minutes for the rebuttal.
Madam Moderator, distinguished judges, our opponents argued that children are vulnerable. Vulnerability cannot be defined by age. They presented statistics that said a study was done of the children at Beach Island. Our children were just called vulnerable. How are we sure that we can have confidence in the outcome of this study? Secondly, it was said that social media exposes young people to pornography, violence, and drugs. Many children are privy to this starting at home. Where was such pornography obtained? Where are the statistics to show that they obtained this from social media? The argument being presented that drawbacks surpass benefits is baseless, as no statistics or evidence has been presented to support such claim. Children were described by our opponents as leaders of tomorrow. So why not teach them the responsible use of social media, as it provides a platform to bring across social change? Challenges mentioned are not social media based. These are activities that start in a country. Thirdly, the reputation of the country is not attributed to what takes place on social media. It is based on what citizens do and how they act. Distraction of schoolwork. This is baseless, because anything and everything has pros and cons. Reading is an activity we all do, but do you read all books? Not all books are appropriate. So parents have to get involved with the life of their child. My opponents raised the point that parents are busy. Yes, but it is up to them to know what is going on in their child's life and to sit down with them and to observe what they are doing. Yes, we know our parents are not technologically savvy, but if they sit with their children to go through it and see what is going on, and they provide limited time, and they teach them how to use social media responsibly, there will be no reason for the misuse of social media, and our children will be posting better and helping influence and affect social change. Thank you.
Ms. Francis delivered her rebuttal in 2 minutes and 29 seconds. We will now have the leader of the proposition.
Good evening again. Our opponent spoke about parents monitoring and giving advice about social media. I want to just say clearly, with a simple saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Despite the many times parents may teach their children how to positively use social media, it is still up to the children to decide whether they will take on that learning, and most times we can assure you they do not. Also, you claim to say that tweets can change the world, and we agree, because they indeed change the world and change the hard-earned reputations of many lives and families around the world. Also, if tweets can change the world, I am sure they can change the reputation of a country. When social media failed to exist, communication was better, and we had better friendships. And for your point that teachers can use social media to teach their students, how many of these students will actually go home and sit down and watch these videos before being distracted by some Diaranken or Daddy Shark? Also, our opponents rightfully made us aware of job opportunities to be gathered from social media. And we can also say that jobs always love to look at a person's social media account before hiring them. And if something bad was posted, what is there to say about that person? Also, as a person under the age of 16, I can also testify to the fact that I am distracted from social media, as well as cyberbullying, often with some harsh terms, including a recent one, Daddy Longlegs. And so, with being affected, I can personally say that there are needs and requirements for us to re-examine the ways that we use our social media and teach and ban children under the age of 16 from using social media. With that, we ask that you be not moved and do not be influenced by the opposition, and believe us when we say that children under the age of 16 should be banned from social media. I thank you.
The leader of the proposition spoke for 3 minutes and 7 seconds. The judges will now retire to deliberate. just a reminder for the audience, and I guess for the judges as well if they don't have the sheet. The criteria is soundness of points. That means accuracy of points, substantiation by examples, quotes, statistics. We also have logical development, arguments developed along a logical line and presented in a well-ordered manner, audibility and clarity. That means it must be able to present the argument eloquently, clearly, and distinctly. Posture and personality, ability to reach out, capture, and hold the audience's attention through the effectiveness and use of body language. Command of language, must be comfortable with the proper usage of grammar, vocabulary, and expression. Coordination, there should be a clear link between the leaders and the seconders' arguments. Recall and analysis, remembering and explaining or paraphrasing the opponent's point. And impromptu delivery, the ability to think well on your feet. Command of material, awareness of all materials relating to the subject and familiarity of the script. Body language, appropriate facial expression, moderate and appropriate gestures and movements. We'll now have someone escort the judges so that they can retire and deliberate. Start giving out some of the prizes. We'll start off with the participation prizes, and we'll ask the president of the Bar Association, Mrs. Delia Joseph Rowe, to rise and assist us. As this is the participation trophies, we'll just go chronologically and we'll start with debate number 1, where we would have had Virchilds and ICCS. We'll ask the students for Virchilds to come forward and accept their trophies. Are there any students? Okay. So for Virchilds, on Monday we had Mr. Zarif Diaz. We also have from Virchilds, Jackie Peets. Yeah, going over there. From Virchilds High School, we also have Wayne Seaton. And we had Alendia Rogers. Also in debate number 1, we had ICCS, who debated this evening. So we'll start with Naomi Francis. We have Malachi Ferguson. Michelle Hutchinson. And Kayla Malalu. Debate number 2 with teams from BHS and the Washington Archibald High School.
We have for BHS, Muriel Knight. Kianja Paul. And Miss Duana Bradley. Now on to the Washington Archibald High School. Hydrian Otley. Chinwe Bradshaw. Tashima Walters. And Haley Morris. We're informed that Haley's not here, so we'll just ask our representatives to come on her behalf. We also have prizes for the best speaker of each debate. Just give me one moment. So we'll do best speaker for the debates on Monday, debate number 1 and 2, as the judges are still deliberating. We don't have tonight's debates. Tonight's best speaker. So the best speaker in debate number 1 was Mr. Zarif Diaz of Verchilds High School. And the best speaker in debate number 2, if anybody who was here on Monday can guess. Don't because she's from your school, isn't it? It was Miss Kiandra Paul. Each best speaker of the debate, of their respective debate, will receive a TDC gift card of $100. Just so you know, TDC has a wide variety of stationery, school supplies, many items which can make the students complete their SBAs and prepare for their exams. So, guys, the intention is for you to use it for school and school supplies? Yes. In the meantime, we'll just have some comments about the best speaker from the best speaker awards from Monday's debates from Miss Simone Bullen Thompson. Just tonight. Just tonight.
Good night, everyone. On behalf of Ms. Rowe and myself, we just wanted to make some short comments, I wouldn't be very long, about today's debate and about the performances. First of all, I want to thank all the students who participated. I don't know at your age, when I was at that age, if I could have stood up in front of a crowd and speak the way you delivered yourself, and I want to congratulate you. I think everyone did a good job. I also want to congratulate the teachers and the parents for the work they did in preparing the students. In terms of tonight's debate, we noted that there were one or two students who experimented with different speaking styles, for instance, narration by telling stories and jokes. We thought that that was good. It helps you to find your place as a speaker and come into your own as a speaker, and so I thought that was very good. Just a caution that when you do that, you have to make sure that it's relevant, but the judges will deal with that. Now, in terms of the delivery of the material, we were here for both debates. So I can say, and my fellow judge can say, there was an improvement in the delivery of the material overall. However, we found that tonight, maybe it was because of the short time the students had to prepare, that there was an excessive reliance on reading of the script. And that we think took away from the ability to make eye contact as was done on Monday. On Monday there was more eye contact and more involvement. I think from observation there was one student who, despite the lack of time, was able to do quite well with the eye contact, but overall we noted that that went down. And we considered what we saw tonight, the negatives we saw tonight, had to do mainly with the time for preparation, I would think, because some speakers spoke there with not as much conviction as you would have seen them speaking in the previous round. And that was evident, and we thought that they needed to work on that. Just to say a little bit in terms of the best speaker without saying who the best speaker is, I'll leave that for Ms. Byron or the moderator to declare that. But we thought that the best speaker delivered with conviction, with fluency, and was very convincing. But overall, what I want to say, I think at the end of the day, it was a very good debate in terms of how the material came over. I would just encourage the students that let this not be the last debate. It makes you a better speaker. It makes you a better person. So I want to congratulate you on the work you did to prepare, and I hope that when we have the next debate, we will see the schools participating again. Thank you very much.
We'll have the president of the panel give some general thoughts of tonight's debate.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Good evening, everyone. You know, as we rose as the panel of adjudicators to retire to deliberate and determine what marks we'll allocate to determine the winner, I felt like a juror, because I am used to summing up a case to the jury and then sending them out to come back with a verdict. And I watch all 12 of them as they leave the court, and you could see, wow, we've got a heavy decision to make here. I felt that way this evening because the quality of the debate we found to be commendably high. So I want to congratulate all of the participants and to congratulate all of the persons who were responsible for preparing them for the debates that have been held. I wouldn't repeat some of the observations that were made by Ms. Bullen. For example, the too much reading, that was obvious. And of course, it impacted the eye contact and the ability to connect with the audience in an effective way. And part of the reason that we probably saw a lower degree of confidence was precisely because we felt that in some cases you were not as intimate with the material and you needed to take more ownership of it. So that is one of the drawbacks. We found, however, that we found some very impressive, dramatic opening statements, which engaged our attention and kept our attention largely throughout. The use of arguments, reasons were given to support a viewpoint, which were, for the most part, relevant. And there was effective use of examples and facts. There was clear evidence of a lot of research that had gone in. It was relevant, and the points were relevant. And there were even contemporary examples used to support and buttress points. There was reference to very recent events. Some of us who are not on social media would not have known about some of these things. But that was commendable. The use of rebuttal arguments, in some cases there was a bit of a struggle. In other cases we found that the points were identified by the rebuttal speakers, effectively identified and dealt with, which is that's what we were looking for. You needed to be able to identify what were the points that were made by the opponents and effectively rebut. And the structure and outline of that rebuttal as well was important. In terms of presentation styles, there was appropriate tone of voice, use of gestures, and the levels of enthusiasm that we saw were appropriate and convincing to the points. So with those brief and general remarks, I've been asked to be general because the results are yet to come. I want to again take the opportunity on behalf of the adjudicators, Justice Ventos and Mr. Bart, Queen's Counsel, to thank you for having us participate in this exercise. Very encouraging, and we look forward to seeing some of you in the future, perhaps as advocates before us. Have a good day.
With that being said, you have an idea for one? If you feel so. We're not there yet though. So we'll go to, first and foremost, the overall best speaker. The Best Speaker Award, the Constance Mitchum. Oh. So, the Constance Mitchum Overall Best Speaker Award will be given to the debater who the Best Speaker judges have scored the highest throughout the competition. This award is named in honor of Her Excellency, Ambassador Constance Mitchum, the first woman elected to Parliament in St. Kitts and Nevis, and also an attorney at law and seasoned advocate of over 45 years standing. Ambassador Constance Mitchum is the senior partner in the law firm of Mitchum and Benjamin and has previously served as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association, as well as senior magistrate in St. Kitts. Ambassador Mitchum has also served as registrar of the High Court and chief magistrate in the BVI. In 1982, Ambassador Mitchum was part of the St. Kitts and Nevis negotiating team that traveled to Britain for independence talks. She's one of the architects of our nation's constitution. As the first Minister of Women's Affairs in the OACS, she brought about tremendous advances for the rights of women and children. In addition to being the first woman to act as Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, she has also served as a United Nations expert on women's affairs in Latin America and the Caribbean. She now serves as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary plenipotentiary, I was getting there, since the year 2015. In honor of all her achievements, we are proud to present the Constance Mitchum Overall Best Speaker Award. We ask Ms. Delia Joseph Rowe to accept the award. Well, not to accept, to hand over. I represented, you know what I mean. It's been a long night. We now call on the representative, Ms. Delia Joseph Rowe, to present the award. Woo. Oh, yeah. With all that being said about women's affairs and so forth, tonight's best speaker and the overall best speaker goes to Miss Naomi Francis. We're on to the juicy part of the night, the winning team. Members of the winning team of this competition will each receive a future planner account at the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, our gold sponsor, in the sum of $350 each. The Future Planner account is an excellent product offered exclusively at the National Bank and is a great way to teach children and young people about the value of saving. We were talking about teaching values, remember? The Future Planner account is for any young person under the age of 18 and for parents who want to save for their children's future. One of the key features of the Future Planner account is that students can receive a 10% refund on school uniforms and a 10% refund on books and school supplies once they present their receipts at any branch of the National Bank. Listen up closely, we don't know who won. In addition, when our debaters reach the age of 18 years old, their Future Planner accounts will transform into regular savings accounts where they can continue to save towards their future. And of course, they get that fancy trophy. The results. Tonight's debate, we had Bastia High School for the proposition. We had Immaculate Conception Catholic School for the opposition. And the points as follows. I'm reading left to right here. So, the proposition amassed a total score of 527 points. The opposition received a total score of 511 points. And so the winner of tonight's debate is the Bastia High School. Come and receive your fancy trophy. A round of applause to all our debaters. Everybody did a wonderful job. All the judges who came out to support and the Bar Association. We'll now have our vote of thanks by our law committee chairperson, Ms. Taliba Byron.
Good evening again, everyone. How are you tonight? I think it was an excellent 2 days of truly, truly excellent competing by all of our students. I think they deserve a round of applause. It is my task tonight to say thank you. We want to say thank you to all of you for coming. We want to say thank you to our judges. In particular, we have tonight our final round judges. We're very honored to have our 2 resident judges, Justice Ward and Justice Ventos, and Mr. Delano back QC as well. Thank you all so much for taking the time out to be here. Thank you to our 2 best speaker judges who've been here for the 2 days, all of the rounds, Mrs. Delia Joseph Rowe and Mrs. Simone Bullen Thompson. Thank you to Ms. Danny Maynard for doing such an excellent job of moderating the evening's proceedings. Thank you to Mrs. Agatha James Andrews, who gave us the invocation on Monday. We say thank you to our gold sponsor, the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, whose generous contribution made this competition a reality. We say thank you as well to our other sponsors, the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs, the law firm of Mitchum and Benjamin, the law firm of Gonzalez Parry, who was responsible for our first place trophies. Thank you to them. The law firm of Byron and Byron, and Island Purified Water Limited. Thank you as well to Fulton's Bakery for catering. Mr. Kenyatta Tyson, our trusty timekeeper, thank you. We say thank you to all of the teachers and the principals who helped to get our students prepared in a very short time frame, actually, for the competition. And in particular, Ms. Aisha Williams of Vertiles High School, Mr. Lachlan Tatum and Dr. Douglas of the ICCS, Ms. DeFreitas and Ms. Roberts of the Washington Archibald High School, and Mrs. Sargent, the principal of the Washington Archibald High School, and Mrs. Heiliger of the Bastyr High School. We say thank you to the students for participating as well. Not all schools, obviously, agreed to be a part of this competition, and we think that it will only be to the benefit of those who took part. For answering our call, we say thank you. Huge thanks as well to Solid Waste Management Corporation. Few people know that Solid Waste actually agreed at the very last minute for this to be our venue on Monday, as our original venue became unavailable, and we say thank you to them for preparing the venue for us and allowing us to be here, helping us to set up. So we say thank you. To our listening and viewing audience, everyone who is looking at us on WinFM, ZIZ, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live, thank you all for being with us as well. Apparently on Monday on WinFM we had 4,300 and something viewers on Facebook Live. Yes. All interested in looking at our students and rooting for them. And so we say thank you to all of you. Thank you to WinFM, Mr. Trent, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to ZIZ. Thank you to Mr. Grell Brown of ZIZ, Randy Byron, Dele Adams of ZIZ. We say thank you. Thank you everyone again.